On the Gamebridge Ball State Cardinals Sports Network from Learfield. Welcome to This Week in Ball State Sports, a Ball State athletics podcast, highlighting the Cardinals athletic teams and administration each week. Presented by Gamebridge. Here's the voice of the Cardinals, your host, Mick Tidrow.
Hey Cardinals fans, this is episode 37 of This Week in Ball State Sports, and we continue the trek through May, the academic calendar year coming to a close on the sports side. Still have some baseball and track and field to talk with you about here on the podcast, and we'll have a couple of special guests joining us, along with Director of Athletics Jeff Mitchell, Makayla Sumrall, and Jenelle Rogers from Ball State Track and Field. We're getting ready for postseason competition later this week. Also join the podcast. First, starting off with Jeff Mitchell. Jeff, appreciate you as always, and we're wrapping up our podcast series in year one. It's coming to a close pretty quickly. Just a week or two left. Here we go.
Well, thank you, Mick. Always a pleasure to join you, and I am very grateful for you to conduct this podcast week after week, all season long, as we celebrate the good things happening in Ball State University athletics. We've had a great year, and look forward to celebrating all of that as we wrap up the year in the next couple of weeks. But right now we've still got some individuals competing and a team competing, and we're throwing all our energy behind them right now.
We are, and two of those individuals that we're throwing our energy behind, Makayla Sumrall and Jenelle Rogers for Ball State Track and Field. Excellent at the Mid-American Conference postseason outdoor championships, but now an opportunity for them in the preliminaries.
We are really proud of them, and they've had a successful season. They've been excellent all year, and now they get to showcase their talents on a national stage. So we look forward to watching them compete and having them represent Ball State in a manner that is pretty special, to be among the best in the country.
Pretty cool having the podcast last week with President Mearns, breaking things down from a track and field perspective, get his take on what he's seen from the team as well. But Jeff, from your standpoint, we've talked about it throughout the course of the year with track and field, a lot of individual items that you can touch on because of how individualistic the sport can be sometimes. But as a team overall, how have you seen Coach Wheatley put this team in a good position to have the success stories of Jenelle and Makayla and so many others that help with those 14 podium finishes in the Outdoor MAC Championship?
I think he's got a very good eye for talent, and he develops his student athletes in a really meaningful way, both as a person, but certainly also as an athlete. And I think what you see from our athletes is they just continue to improve. So, take Makayla, take Jenelle, they just continue to get better and better at what they do. And Coach Wheatley takes a real interest in his student athletes. And he's a coach, and he just exudes that. Any conversation that you have with him, you know that he is interested in just continuing to develop others. And that's what we're in this profession for. And so I really celebrate him today as he continues to have tremendous success with us. And certainly for the two women that are going to join us on the podcast later, ask them the question too, because I think they'll say the same thing, that they just develop or that Coach develops them in very strategic ways. It's a sport where you've got to be strategic in how you prepare and then in how you attack during whatever competition it may be. But I'm really fortunate that Coach Wheatley is a part of our coaching staff, and I really credit him for the level of devotion and dedication that he gives to his team and the way he develops his talented student athletes.
We'll have Coach Wheatley on next week's podcast episode, so a lot of track and field conversation here on This Week in Ball State Sports. All right, Jeff, baseball in action this week, the Mid-American Conference Tournament. Cardinals claim the number 3 seats. That means they play Wednesday afternoon in the first game of the tournament. We've said it all year long on this podcast, though, but to start 1-7, to make the surge that they did in the Mid-American Conference Tournament, to, put themselves in a position going into that last weekend to potentially get a 2 or 3 spot, pretty remarkable season for them to wrap up the regular season.
Underscoring the 1-7 start and to finish 18-12, so a 17-5 run to end the season in conference play is pretty remarkable. And I think what is special about this team is there was a period of time in that middle stretch of the season, which coincided with the beginning of conference play, that they hadn't quite figured out their identity. And that shifted in going into the fourth conference series. We had just won a game at the tail end of the Toledo series, which was our third series of the year, and that's what turned the tide. And I think the belief started to set in. They got some guys that had been on the shelf, a couple of pitchers, some position players. Their lineup was a little topsy-turvy, and all of a sudden you get some guys back in the lineup, and the playmakers started to make plays, and pitching improved, and there was rhythm, not only offensively but defensively and on the pitcher's mound, and that momentum started to build. And winning is a habit, and so as we start winning ball games, that expectation came back into everybody's mind, and that fuels how we play baseball here at Ball State. So I'm not surprised that we finished the way we did, and I'm really looking forward to seeing our guys compete this week in the MAC championships, and I think we've got a chance to win, and I'm really proud of Coach Maloney and his staff, proud of our guys for their level of resilience, their level of competitiveness, and their will to win. And it's been on display all year long. Credit Coach Maloney for having yet another 30-win season this year. He has not had a sub-30-win season in all of his seasons here at Ball State. This is his 19th season. We discount the 2020 season due to COVID, and just because not enough games were played. But what a remarkable stretch for him and for Ball State baseball. So it's time to celebrate that team as we go to the MAC championships.
11 straight 30 wins or more seasons for Rich Maloney. You said it, 18 overall as a head coach of Ball State. Never had a sub-30 win season during his career. So Ball State, first pitch Wednesday, 12:30 against Toledo. Cardinals are the 3 seed. Rockets are the 6 seed. You mentioned how Ball State started to turn around that season in the regular portion in that last game against Toledo. So a very intriguing matchup for the first round of the Mid-American Conference Tournament. Number 4 seed Miami takes on number 5 Kent State. That's a 6 o'clock start. And then the winner of the Cardinals and Rockets play the 1-seeded Bowling Green Falcons on May 23rd at 2 o'clock. So a lot to look forward to within that tournament. But, Jeff, we saw it last year. Ball State goes in, wins the MAC tournament championship, heads to the Lexington Regional. When you get to this time in the year, when you have postseason play, a couple things stand out. The pitching and timely offense. Ball State has started to have that in the last 7 series that you just mentioned.
They really have, and I think that's exactly what you need this time of the year, and you get to line things up the way you want to do it for tournament play. And so Rich Maloney is a master at creating lineups that can be competitive when it matters the most, and I know that he is tinkering right now with how he's going to attack this MAC tournament, but I think he likes what he has, and our guys are really excited about it. So that combination is important when you go into tournament play, and our guys know that they're playing well and have a lot of confidence, and I think that's in all phases of the game today.
Also, congratulations to Blake Beavis, co-MAC Player of the Week, after another stellar weekend for Blake Beavis in the batter's box. Jeff, before we let you go here on the pod, we'll have a lot to talk about in our next couple of episodes. We'll have a season wrap-up as well, where fans, you can submit your questions to Director of Athletics Jeff Mitchell. Ask away to any questions you'll have possibly going into the summer, into the fall. But, Jeff, before we let you go on this episode, anything for Ball State fans?
Just a reiteration of my appreciation for you, Mick, and your level of commitment to helping us promote the Ball State brand through this forum. I think it's really important that you hear the stories not only from me, but from our administrators, from our coaches, from our student athletes, to give you an inside peek at what's going on inside the walls here at Ball State and Ball State athletics, and letting our fans hear about the special human beings that we have in our department, in particular the talented student athletes that we enjoy supporting and promoting and watching compete and represent Ball State all the time. So thank you, Mick.
I appreciate it, Jeff, and thank you for letting me stick a microphone in your face almost every single week and recording some episodes. Appreciate you, too.
Thank you, Mick. Go Cards.
Sometimes it's not the moment. It's the moment before the moment. The moment you make a choice. The moment you take control. The moment only you can own. GameBridge lets you invest on your terms. So you're not only in charge of this moment, but all the moments to come. Start investing now at GameBridge.io.
Welcome back into This Week in Ball State Sports. So we have a fun track and field-centric episode today. They just finished up the MAC championships in the outdoor season, and Makayla Sumrall joins us here on This Week in Ball State Sports. First and foremost, thanks for joining us on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
What a fun way to end the season for the entire track and field squad. Makayla, you finished first in the 100 dash. So many podium finishes for this Ball State track and field team. What was the experience like this year to do that with this team?
So this is my first MAC outdoor championship. So it was something new for me as well, stepping in. Like, I know the freshmen, obviously this was new for them, but even as like an upperclassman or a grad student, this was fairly new for me. So I didn't quite know what to expect. We had quite a bit of adversity, but I feel like that's kind of what got us going. I feel like if we hadn't have had all that adversity, I don't know how we would have finished. We really like rallied behind each other, and I feel like that was like one of the best times we like ran with the purpose. Like, everyone was giving 100% because we just had so much stakes on the line. Like, because everyone wasn't 100%. We had some injuries, some last minute changes. So I feel like that was the first time like we were really running for real.
What was it like to see everybody run for real, run at that 100% to give more than they had?
I'm not going to lie, I was quite nervous. So it was hard for me to really focus. I was just trying to make sure my nerves ain't rubbing off on anybody else. And I was really freaking out. But it was like really rewarding. Like, it was really full circle. I feel like our team as a whole has been waiting for the moment, like the perfect moment where everyone's like 100%, like everyone's just running free and not worrying about anything. So it was really, really nice to see. I feel like we all surprised ourselves with either like times, finishes, everything. Because we had some people that weren't even supposed to be in the finals that made it to finals and got us points that we weren't even expected to have. So I feel like, I gave us a sense of confidence, especially for the people going into next year.
You said you were a little bit nervous and didn't want that to rub off on anybody else, but when you woke up the day of the competition, what's running through your mind to get ready for the day?
Oh, that's when I was that's when I was the most nervous. I was crying. We had really last minute changes. Like, one of our best runners, I love her so much, she had put her hamstring in the 200, so she had to get pulled out of the 4x1. And this 4x1's like, we hadn't had like a solid 4x1 the whole year. Like, there's always kind of something, and we were like, this is our chance. Like, we finally got our whole troop together, and she pulled it, and they were like, we're gonna have to put you as anchor. And I was like, oh, I'm not doing that. Like, I was just really nervous because I feel like that's just a lot of pressure. I was like, Jenelle, filling her shoes, that's quite a big assignment. Like, she's an amazing runner. So I was just so nervous. I was like, man, they won last year and they broke the conference record last year. If it don't happen, this is on me. Like, I'm the last leg. Like, I have to finish the job. So the whole day I was just really nervous. But, nonetheless, we ran 110%. I could not have been more proud of that team. They gave it to me, the baton with the slight lead, and then after that it was over. Like, I talked to Willie. He was like, once I seen you guys were like even just like 2 steps ahead in that final exchange, I knew that the job was done. And then we ended up re-breaking the conference record, and that was our season's best. Or I guess that was even the fastest time they had ran from last year. So it was really nice to see. Like, I just did not imagine that day going like that when I first woke up. Like, I didn't know what the day had in store for me, especially even with the 100. Like, that was just a big shock too. I really did not expect that. But yeah.
You described that so well, and what happened within the day. You crossed the finish line in the 4x100. After that, what are those emotions like to be able to cross that, especially when you weren't anticipated to be in that position like that?
Well, there's always a little bit of rivalry in general. So my first reaction wasn't even like looking at the time. Like I was just like, okay, like we beat the teams. Like I was so happy because I feel like obviously you don't walk around with like a chip on your shoulder, but teams can, once you have established yourself as like a winner, especially from them last year, everyone's out to get you. It's very different winning as an underdog than winning as someone who's been ranked number one in the MAC the entire year. Like everyone knows who you are. So I mean, but like even during like the warm-ups and during like our baton exchange, like you see like little teams like stop and like kind of start looking, or like coaches, and so I'm like, what's everybody staring at? Like, I'm just not used to that. I've never been to MAC before, and I know the success they had last year. So it was, my first reaction was just like, okay, we really did this. Like we won, even with the most crazy circumstances that we could have had. Yeah, then after that, I just ran to my team, and they were waiting for me at the finish line. And it was just like a really full circle moment. And we were just in tears. And then we had Jenna, who was supposed to be our anchor. She came down, she took our pictures with us, and we tried to give her the medal, the gold medal. She didn't want to take it. But it was really full circle. Like, I even think, like, without Jenna being there, her support, and like, because so you could have got injured and just been like, I'm really not in the headspace, I don't even really need to want to be here. But the way she still supported everyone and like helped us with anything we needed, I feel like that's the reason why we were able to have that much success in the 4x1. So yeah.
To hear you talk about your teammates like that, you can tell that how much this team means to you personally. When you sum up how the team performed and how the team means to you, like, how would you describe that?
So I am really new here. I wasn't here last year. I wasn't here in the past at all. So I was looking for just a completely different team experience than what I had previously had. I wanted a team that was like more family oriented, like they were running not just for themselves. Like obviously you have personal goals, but I didn't want a team that was just so focused on themselves that we can't really accomplish nothing when we all come together because we're not working with the same purpose. And I feel like I finally found that here. And I feel like at the end of the day, like we do be arguing like sisters, and like, we butt heads, but I feel like at the end of the day, like it's really out of love, and it's just because we know we can really push each other, or we know our goals are so big at this program. People like don't understand like the stuff that we put so much stress on ourselves because we know what each and every one of us can accomplish and what we can accomplish as a team. So I really, really appreciate and love this group, and they welcomed me with like open arms. Like I got recruited by like all the schools in the MAC, and I would never want to be anywhere else but to have finished my last year here.
Definitely want to talk about that here in a second, but I want to go back to the 100 dash real fast and recap that, because that's something that's done in the blink of an eye. You start, you're done. It's done in a couple of seconds. How do you prepare yourself to be in the mindset to go in and be ready for a race like that at that kind of a stage? Like
you said, like it goes by so fast. In indoor, I feel like I did not have as much success because I was so stressed about the event. Like I feel like once I got to the 100, I was just like, track and field, it's obviously one of the biggest blessings ever, but it's just not that deep. Like if we approach the situation with like mistakes can happen and you can still have success. And I feel like this was the first season that I ran so like carefree and like relaxed and I feel like I was able to reap the benefits of not caring so much. Like if I didn't run the time I wanted, or if I let somebody beat me, because at the end of the day, like it just really does not matter that much. But at conference, we faced quite a bit of adversity too. That was the first time I've ever had like 2 false starts, or the first time someone like flinched. And so we came out I don't even know if we came out the blocks, but we were in set and they called us back. And then everyone's like, reset. And it really didn't affect me that time. But then it happened a second time, and it was a girl right next to me. And I was like, dang, was it me? Because I flinched off of her reaction. And so then we told us like reset again. After that, you can tell like our group was kind of shaken up a bit, because I know I never had that happen. I'm sure they probably haven't had that happen in the same race. But once that happens, it's like you have no choice but to just literally clear your mind. Like you can't anticipate anything. You have to just go in there and like trust that all your work and the training and the strength training, all the weightlifting, everything has prepared you for that moment. Because like you said, the race is so short. Like we can't, at that point, you can't help what's going to happen. Like, yeah.
Now I want to go back to what you said, the question before of you recruited by teams in the MAC, you wanted to come to Ball State, you found like this was a fit for you that really made sense. How would you describe overall your journey through track and field in your career?
So originally I was actually just talking to Coach Lee about this yesterday. I originally I never did like AAU or like travel or anything like that. I really wasn't. I love track, but I love to like watch it. Like I just was never like this standout athlete. Like I was always just kind of like flown in the middle. Like I would get to states, and then that would be like the end of my journey. Like I wouldn't make it to finals or anything. So I was just like, I'm just not gonna continue to do this. So at first I was thinking about it, and I originally got a scholarship to go to Wayne State. And then I had signed my contract, like my thing to go there. And then last minute, I got a full ride to Boston University for academics. So I was like, oh, scratch that. So then I decommitted and I went to Boston. And I realized I didn't like it at Boston after one semester. So then I had my mom reach out to the coach at Wayne State, and I was like, maybe I should give track another try, because I feel like I'm kind of lost. Like track gave me so much stability and like schedule that I didn't know like what to do with all that free time of just being someone who like didn't participate in like athletics. So now once I got back to Wayne State, it was like a little rocky journey, because I started late. Came through mid-season, and I had to just start indoor. Like I didn't have no training. I mean, I was just out there running, and I actually did have like success. So I was like, okay, this may not be like as bad as I think. Like obviously I can do this without doing. I mean, I did nothing. Like I just got there and went to the meet like the next week. And so after the first year, it was okay. Then the second year, I feel like I started figuring myself out a little bit. And then my junior year is when I had my breakthrough year. I became like the team captain. That's when I ran like the 7:48 and 11:61. And I was like, oh, wow, like I'm actually kind of good. And I went to nationals, and I was able to score at national, or, make it to national, make it to the finals and stuff like that. And then that's when I was like, okay, well, I guess I may take, because COVID happened my sophomore year. And so I was like, I had the whole year eligibility left. So I was like, well, what do I want to do? Like, I don't know what I want to do. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take the fifth year. And I was really dead set on taking the fifth year at my old school. Actually, I was like 100% like, I'm going to stay at Wayne State, because I had success here. And I'm not a big person like on division. I feel like you can have success at any level as long as you're like determined. But some unfortunate events happened my senior year, and I just felt like it was time for me to like kind of close that chapter and find something new. So then, yeah, I didn't enter the portal until like a week before my graduation. So I was really late and I was like really freaking out, because I was like, dang, I entered really late. Like people have already, they're starting on the next year recruiting class. And so obviously I had like a couple schools reach out, like Michigan State and stuff like that, then all the schools in the MAC, and then a couple like just throughout the country. But I knew I didn't want to go like super far. So, I didn't really entertain anybody but Michigan State and Ball State. Like I talked to the coaches in the MAC, but once I came on my visit to Ball State, I had my visit to Michigan State right after. But even at Michigan State, like I knew I was going to Ball State. I just wanted to like play it off like I still didn't know what I was doing yet. So yeah, once I had my visit to Ball State, I just told all the other coaches in the MAC, like, I don't see myself really coming here, so I don't want to waste your time. And that's pretty much my journey, how I got here.
And what's it meant to you to be able to put on the Cardinal and white for this season, to be able to perform with this team?
It means a lot, because it's like I finally feel like I'm content with how I'm leaving track and field. Like if I would have left how I was last year, I feel like I would have always been thinking like, dang, what would have happened if X, Y, Z? But I feel like this was the first time that I felt like, okay, I can walk away and like not be like, I'm crying because I'm happy, but like not be like in tears, because I'm like, dang, I want something, like I want more. And especially to like have ran with that team in particular, it's like really special. Like I feel like it was like little sisterhood. Like, so yeah, it was quite special.
Outside of life as a student athlete, what's going on in your world there?
So I am a first year. Well, I guess I completed my first year of my Master's of Biology program. So I got my undergraduate degree in neuroscience. And my ultimate goal is to be a doctor. I want to be like a family physician. So I am actually, I applied to medical school right before I got here. Actually, it may have been like the second day I got to Ball State. And I applied right when I got here. And the medical school like application cycle, it takes like about a year to complete. So I've interviewed at a couple schools, and now I'm just waiting to hear back. I'm on the wait list for one, and I'm just kind of waiting to see like what's going to happen. If all fails, I'm just going to retake the test and apply again. Like it's not that deep. And then I'm going to come back and finish my master's program, and I'm going to be a TA, so they'll pay for my tuition and give me a stipend. So yeah, it's either I'm going to medical school in the fall, or I'm finishing my master's degree and reapplying.
Before we let you go here, is there anything you want to say to the fans, to family members, to coaches, to teammates, anything you want to say to Ball State University?
Oh, jeez. Well, my family already know. Like I tell them all the time, I couldn't do anything without them. I've already, okay, I feel like it's repetitive, but to like the team and the coaches, I really appreciate you guys like taking a chance on me. And I feel like the amount of work and time and effort that they put in, I feel like no one else in the athletics world has done that for me. And it like has never gone unnoticed. Like I feel like I could not have had even the tiniest bit of success, even like a small PR. I couldn't have done it with anybody. Like if one puzzle piece wasn't there, I don't think I would have been able to achieve what I did at this school.
Well, Makayla, we appreciate your time here today. Congratulations on all your success and what's to come. We're excited to watch that progress. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sometimes it's not the moment. It's the moment before the moment. The moment you make a choice. The moment you take control. The moment only you can own. Gainbridge lets you invest on your terms. So you're not only in charge of this moment, but all the moments to come. Start investing now at Gainbridge.io.
Welcome back into This Week in Ball State Sports, and we have Jenelle Rogers with us from Ball State Track and Field. They just finished up their MAC championships on the outdoor side of things. Jenelle, thank you so much for joining us here on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Jenelle, it's been a really fun season again for this Ball State Track and Field squad. 14 team podium finishes. We just talked with Makayla about her performance and her journey. But from your perspective, how would you sum up the outdoor season for this Ball State team?
It was a lot, honestly. We've been working hard for a fat minute, so just having it all come together in a great moment, it was very, very nice to see.
When you're able to go through the indoor season and then transition that to the outdoor season and be able to have team success like that, what does that mean to you and to the team to be able just to continue that?
Honestly, it means a lot. We've just really been working hard, and then we didn't really see as much success that we wanted to in indoor. So just really working hard, training, and staying focused to make sure that outdoor gets to where we want it to be.
How special was it to see all your teammates have the type of success that they did in the outdoor?
It's definitely very special to see. I wish I could have been a part of those moments. Even closer, I had a lot going on with a bunch of different events and trying to watch everything at the same time. But I'm just honestly really proud of everyone and how hard they worked and what they did.
I should have asked Makayla this about you, but I'm going to ask you about Makayla now. How cool was it to see her come into this program and have the type of success that she did?
It's been amazing to watch, just really watching her grow and flourish and just how she interacts with everyone on the team. She came in and she really just pushed everyone from the beginning. So it's been a blessing to have her here.
We talked about how she had to jump in and be the anchor for the 4x100. When somebody has to do that, how tough can that be to jump into that spot in the moment and be able to do that?
It's very tough. Often you got to be very mentally strong, which she is. You have to be very confident in your training and in your work ethic, and you got to be confident in your team. You have to really have a lot of trust in them.
How have you had that type of trust in your teammates?
I've had a lot of trust in my teammates, to be honest. I couldn't have been where I am at right now without them. Just thinking about how they get me through training and, days where you're not feeling the best. I trust them that, they're going to pick me up or they're going to bring the energy, or just really relying on them.
How have you seen this team get better and better throughout the year? You talked about the indoor to outdoor transition, but how have you seen the team grow and get better in that regard?
Just staying focused, a lot of mental growth, a lot of pushing each other in practices, and then a lot of growth just in terms of relationships and interactions, and just making sure that we're working together and that we're building each other up.
How about from you in a personal standpoint? How did you grow from the indoor to outdoor season? I know it's such a quick window, but how did you see yourself improve?
There was a lot of things that didn't go how I wanted to indoor. I know that maybe the mark didn't show it, or even the placement didn't show it, but every event I do, there's always something I'm looking at that I'm like, okay, this can be better, or this cue I need to work on. So just taking the little things and then working on them in practice so that I'm consistent when it comes to meets.
How do your teammates help with that?
just pushing me, honestly, bringing the energy. That's how they help me out the most.
After the outdoor season now concludes and everything starting to come together for postseason competition, when you look back at this year as a whole, from when everybody got here at the start of the first semester to now, we talked about it from the indoor to outdoor season, but just from August, what made this team special to be a part of for 23-24 season?
Honestly, how we rally around each other. Like Makayla said, there's been a lot of ups and downs throughout the whole season. Injuries and just a lot of personal situations that have been going on. So just how we came together and rallied around and just fought our way through those together.
How did you see yourself as a teammate change and grow and improve in that regard? Not just a competitor, but as a teammate too. Since at Ball State and with the different groups that I've been a part of, I found change in myself through how I interact with others. I feel like I'm not the most talkative person. I'm not the most touchy-feely person, but just seeing how other people need to be, I don't want to say loved, but just seeing how other people feel love or feel your compassion, I have to change the way I exert that. So maybe it's saying good job, or maybe it's cheering for them when I wouldn't necessarily do that. And it's not that I'm not rooting for them, but just being more verbal, or even a high five, or like giving a little hug sometimes, just changing how I interact with others just to show how I care for each other. So. How do coaches help with that too, to help be able to get that type of a personality out of you to be able to interact with teammates like that? Some of them are very, like Wheatley, he's very touchy-feely, or he's always making jokes, or asking how you're doing, trying to be funny. So I feel like just that kind of the opposite personality of being outward and joking around and stuff, that will bring it out of me. Jenelle, how would you sum up at this point in your Ball State career how things have been from the very beginning to now? What's changed? How have you grown? Just anything that comes to mind from the start of the journey to where you're at right now.
So when I came to Ball State, the program was completely different. I'd say it was a complete 180 from how it is now. Just the priorities were different. The mindset of the coaches was different. The environment was completely different. And so with all the changes later on, I feel like we are definitely more family oriented. I feel like there's a lot more care towards the athlete, and not just who you are as an athlete, but who you are as a person. I feel like there's been a lot of success when you focus on the person and not just what they can do for the team. And then also going through all of that, I feel like I've really been able to find myself and not just have an identity just in track. So, yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Just making sure that I'm not defining myself on what I do on the track. So I don't feel like I was very successful in my first couple years here. And I'm not going to say that was entirely due to the environment or the coaching, but just finding that I am so much more than what I can do. And when I am able to separate that, I'm able to find success in other areas. So.
What are some of your hobbies outside of track and field here at Ball State?
Well, when I have time, I do like to draw. I'm a very creative person. I do sing, but that's for my ears only. Hey, not too much.
Yeah, Makayla's sitting right here, so I think there's going to have to be some sort of performance maybe after the pod drops.
Just for me. But I just like being out and about. I don't really get a lot of time to do that between track and school, but traveling is something I really want to do when I get the chance. So,
what's on the bucket list? What place is on the bucket list? I'm putting you on the spot.
At this point, anywhere. Just get me out of Muncie. So, yeah.
When you talk about some of your hobbies, we were talking about before we started recording the podcast, just what your journey is looking like this summer with internships and things like that. What does that look like?
Yeah, I have an internship at CSO Architects in Indy. I'm expecting to do that the entire summer. So it's either track or it's work. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the whole summer.
What's the dream outside of track with using architecture?
Honestly, I do want to become an interior designer as of right now. I'm not sure what industry, but I'm just going to stick with that for right now. Yeah, it's something I enjoy to do. So.
Well, Jenelle, before we let you go here on This Week in Ball State Sports, is there anything you want to tell Ball State fans, Coach Wheatley, Makayla, who are sitting right here next to us as we record this podcast?
Yeah, I feel like it's repetitive. I said this during my chirpy speech, but I truly mean it when I say that I couldn't be where I am now without all the support that I've had. I don't think I would have been here. After my second year, I was thinking about quitting track, to be honest, because I just the environment was not good for me, and I just didn't think I could do it. But having such support behind me really allowed me to believe in myself and just helped me to get where I'm at. So I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, just want to thank everybody.
What brought you back after your sophomore year to say, I'm going to do this?
The team environment, honestly, and their belief in me. It proved that I could do it, even when I didn't believe I could do it. They believed in me, and I eventually got there and started believing in myself too. So,
well, Jenelle, we are so proud of the progress that you've had throughout your journey, the accomplishments that you've had. Thank you for joining us on the podcast and continued success. We wish you all the best and enjoy the summer with track and with the internship.
Thank you so much.
And maybe sing for your teammates.
No, that's not happening.
Thanks for listening to This Week in Ball State Sports, presented by Gainbridge. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Gainbridge Ball State Cardinals Sports Network.